Today I decided to give you guys a ranking of the Naked Gun films. This is a series of films that began in 1988 and lasted until 94, with a fourth film in production, which is something of a reboot slash sequel, which will have Liam Neeson in the title role. This series is really funny and is a slapstick comedy series, and it's loosely based on the TV show Police Squad. The film starred Leslie Nielsen as Frank Drebin, who is a bumbling, goofy detective, but very efficient. At least as efficient as you can be in a spoof comedy cop movie, I suppose. And these films are some of my favorite spoof comedy films. So without further ado, I decided to give you guys my ranking from worst to best. Coming in third place would have to be Naked Gun 33 and a third. Released in 1994, the third and final film, at least up to this point, in the Naked Gun franchise, sees Frank going up against a mad bomber who he also has to break out of prison and infiltrate his gang so he can stop him from bombing the Academy Awards, I believe. It's a very silly premise, but all these movies are not really about the plots. They're just about the gags and the humor, and the plot is just a vehicle to get to that point. The only reason this one comes in third is that it's not quite as funny as the first two. I really do enjoy Fred Ward as the villain. I really am a big fan of Fred Ward, and this film really does play to his acting strengths as a comedic actor, even though he has been in a lot of serious roles. This film also spoofs a lot of other movies, which is not super common at the time for spoof films. They were usually just spoof one movie, and that was it. But this one pokes fun at not only several prison escape movies like Shawshank Redemption, Great Escape, but even Escape from Alcatraz, which, funnily enough, Fred Ward starred in. Possible reason why he even got the part to begin with, honestly. There's some great gags. It also stars Anna Nicole Smith back when she was really popular. And I do enjoy this one, but it's just not quite the level of the first two. The gags don't really hit quite as hard, and it's not quite as funny as those first two films, but it is still rather enjoyable. Fun experience, and one that I do recommend. The best gag in this film would definitely have to be the sperm bank scene, which is just hilarious, especially when he comes out of the sample room smoking a cigarette with his glasses messed up. I really do like this one, just not as strong as the first two. Coming at number two would have to be Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear. This is almost my favorite of the series, and it was damn near number one. The plot of this one basically shows Frank going up against this energy baron who wants to stop this scientist from releasing ways to have renewable energy. It's just kind of a simple plot, but I really find this one really funny. Leslie Nielsen really does bring his A game this time around, and they really do have more gags in this one. It's just not quite as funny as the first. The gags don't hit quite as hard, but there's some really funny ones in here. I especially like the one where he has a fight with the assassin in his girlfriend's apartment and ends up blowing him up with a water hose. It's just completely silly and ridiculous. This one also has O.J. Simpson returning in a much larger role than he had in the first film, and there's even a great gag in this movie where he gets dragged by a bus all the way to Detroit. There's one about the real life O.J. Simpson, and there's a lot to say, but he is funny in these movies, and I do like how he had more to do in the sequel, whereas the first one he was mostly in a hospital bed the whole time. A very enjoyable follow-up. George Kennedy is great as Frank's partner once again, and just a solid sequel. It's almost as good as the first, but just slightly short of missing the mark of the original. A great sequel, and my second favorite of the franchise. But you just can't beat the original, The Naked Gun. This was largely inspired and based on the Police Squad TV show, and it really shows. A lot of the gags from that show up in this movie, and even the sequel as well. And you can tell it's like a love letter to that show. If you haven't seen that show, I highly recommend it, and this movie more or less is just the cinematic version of that idea. It shows Frank Drebin trying to stop a criminal who has been enacted in an assassination plot against the Queen. It's really silly and doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it is hilarious. It basically makes fun of tons of different cop movies, spoofing films such as Dirty Harry and other films along those lines. It's basically just making fun of cop procedurals, and it does it in a very great way. Priscilla Presley, Elvis Presley's ex-wife, is in the film as Frank's girlfriend, and she actually is pretty funny and actually a pretty good comedic actor. The gags really are nonstop in this movie. You can't go literally 30 seconds without a joke being told. There's a whole lot of slapstick humor, a lot of physical humor and pratfalls and things of that matter. If you enjoy physical comedy, you're really going to enjoy this film. It's such a shame that this style of film is pretty much non-existent and is pretty much ruined in the early 2000s by the oversaturation of bad spoof movies. But this one is a classic, and hopefully at one point we can get back to this level of comedy. It's one of my favorite Leslie Nielsen performances. I don't know if it's my favorite comedy film he's been in. I really also love him in Airplane, but Frank Drebin is just a laugh riot. And hopefully the new Naked Gun film can live up to this one, at least partially. If it's even as good as like the third film, I'll be happy. Well, that's my list. Like I said, I really is a shame that spoof comedy films are pretty much down the drain and non-existent these days. You might get occasional one, but they're usually pretty bad. Hopefully we can see a resurgence in this type of film, and if the new one's good, maybe we'll have more Naked Gun films in the future. I thank you all for watching. Leave your list down below of your favorite Naked Gun movies, or just tell me your favorite, or what's your favorite spoof comedy film? Is it Airplane, or even Young Frankenstein, or Spaceballs? Let me know down below. And peace out.